Welcome back to the Green Room. This is a space where we slow conversations down, especially the ones the internet speeds up. Now, today isn't about choosing sides or stirring drama. It's about looking underneath the moment that resurfaced and asking what it reveals about respect, ego, and how we talk to each other in the public. Now, let's get into it. Now, if you follow sports media at all, you probably have seen the resurfaced tension between Terrell Owens and Stephen A. Smith. This isn't new beef, but it's a new, again, old words, old feelings brought back into a very current spotlight. And moments like this always gets attention because they tap into something familiar. Being talked about, being misunderstood, and feeling like your name is being handled without your permission. This isn't just about two men, it's about how public voices collide. And now, this is real tension here. The real tension isn't football, it's really legacy versus a narrative. One side represents lived experience. I was there, I earned this, I know who I am. The other represents commentary. I analyze, I interpret, I contextualize for the public. And when those collide, things do get personal very fast. Because once you feel disrespected publicly, the argument is no longer about facts. It's about identity. And that's when volume replaces listening. Now, here's where I land. I think moments like this exposes how different it is to separate critique from character, especially when microphones are involved. You can analyze someone's career without attacking their humanity. And you can defend your legacy without needing to dominate the room. My conviction in this is that public platforms demand private discipline. What I mean by that is the louder the mic, the more responsibility, not less. And I say that, know how easy it is to react when your name isn't on the line. Now, let me slow this down even more. If you're Terrell Owens, imagine giving your body, your prime, your reputation to a game, and still feeling like the narrative never really reflected you. That frustration makes sense. And if you're Stephen A. Smith, imagine carrying the weight of speaking to millions every day, knowing your job is to analyze, critique, and provoke conversation. That pressure is definitely real too. Those are two different callings, y'all. Those are two different responsibilities. But they both have the same human emotions underneath the surface. And when we forget that, that's when we stop being fair. Now, let's offer reflection, not resolution. So instead of resolving this, I want to offer a few questions for all of us. How do I respond when my reputation feels threatened? Another thought is, am I focused more on being respected or being right? When I speak about others, do my words build clarity or just heat? Now, because most conflicts aren't about the issue, they're about how seen we feel. Now, I want to pause right there for a second and speak from a faith perspective. Very briefly and honestly. One thing my faith keeps reminding me of is that identity isn't something we defend with volume. It's something we receive. Yeah. When moments like this go public, when names, legacies, and reputations are being talked about, it is easy to feel like you have to fight to be seen correctly. But scripture consistently pushes against that instinct. It tells us that words carry weight, not just because they're loud, but because they shape hearts. And that conviction, that right there is what checks me. Because faith doesn't call us to be silent, it calls us to be stewards of our speech. To ask, is what I'm saying bringing clarity or just control? And maybe the hardest part of faith is trusting that God can guard our name better than our reactions ever could. So if this moment stirred something in you, here's the faith question I'm sitting with this week. Am I trusting God with my reputation? Or am I trying to protect it myself? Now, let's step back into this conversation. My hope isn't that everyone agrees on this situation. My hope is that we learn how to handle disagreement without turning into degradation. You can be confident without being cruel. You can be outspoken without being dismissive. And whether you're on a national platform or a group chat, the principle is the same. Stay grounded, stay human, and remember, legacy isn't just what you say, it's how you say it. So I'll see y'all next time here in the green room. Thank y'all for listening. Peace.